Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your betting game by hitting that subscribe button and ensure you never miss out on our daily content. Want exclusive access to premium betting picks? Join our Patreon. Links are waiting for you in the comment section below. Stay ahead of the game with High Stakes. As Georgia State prepares to face off against UConn, the value of the Huskies is hard to overlook. Statistically, UConn boasts a significant advantage over the Georgia State Panthers, particularly in the realm of defensive performance. This matchup, while a non-conference game, poses unique challenges for the Panthers, especially with a tough Sun Belt opponent like James Madison looming on the horizon. Georgia State's defense has struggled immensely to stop the run, an area where UConn excels. The Huskies' offense is designed to dominate on the ground, which means they should find plenty of opportunities to sustain drives and put points on the board against the Panthers. Conversely, Georgia State will face a formidable challenge in advancing the ball against UConn's stingy defense. The Huskies excel at shutting down third down conversions, a critical statistic that spells trouble for a Georgia State offense already struggling to convert in those situations. Prediction: I'm taking UConn at minus 7.5 points. This matchup is poised to be heavily one-sided, with the Huskies expected to score the majority of the points. I anticipate UConn will surpass 35 points in this contest, but I don't foresee the Panthers contributing significantly to the scoreboard. Currently, Georgia State is averaging a mere 21.5 points per game this season, and going up against one of the top defenses in the league, they might struggle to reach even 10 points. I'm siding with the under at 48.5 points. Given the statistical disparities and Georgia State's difficulties, this game looks set to remain below the total, with UConn's defense likely keeping the Panthers in check while their own offense runs rampant. Expect a dominant performance from the Huskies as they secure a decisive victory. The South Florida Bulls are facing an uphill battle this season, having started strong with a win only to falter with a 2-4 record in their subsequent 6 games. The root of their struggles lies in their offensive inconsistencies. In their victories, the Bulls have averaged an impressive 44 points, but in their 4 losses, that number plummets to just 11. On the road, South Florida has not fared well, posting a 1-2 record and allowing over 40 points in both defeats. If the Bulls can find a way to stabilize their performance, their record could reflect their potential much better. On the other hand, the Florida Atlantic Owls find themselves in a tough spot as well. Their record in the AAC stands at a disheartening 0-3, yet they have managed to remain competitive at home, boasting a 2-2 record in their own stadium. This season, inconsistent quarterback play has plagued the Owls, with their 3 quarterbacks combining for a lackluster 5 to 8 touchdown-to-interception ratio. Despite this, FAU has relied on a strong ground game, scoring 16 rushing touchdowns and keeping their competitive spirit alive in every game. However, starter Cam Fancher is currently dealing with a neck injury, putting his availability in question. Historically, these teams have met only 4 times, with the most recent encounter last year resulting in a decisive 56-14 victory for FAU, where they racked up nearly 600 yards of offense. But as we enter this season, both teams have faced significant challenges, and the landscape has changed. With South Florida showcasing the more dynamic offense, ranking in the top 100 in college football for both passing and rushing yards, and riding the momentum of a recent victory, they appear poised for a much-needed conference win. Prediction: I'm backing the South Florida Bulls to emerge victorious against the Florida Atlantic Owls. While both teams boast strong rushing attacks, each averaging over 2 rushing touchdowns per game, the instability at quarterback has hindered their offensive consistency throughout the season. For the Bulls, the under has hidden 5 of their last 10 games, with them failing to score over 20 points in 4 of their 7 contests this season. The Owls have similarly struggled, with the under coming through in 6 of their last 10 games, and they've scored fewer than 25 points in 4 of their 7 outings. Given the offensive uncertainties surrounding both teams, I recommend keeping it straightforward and taking the under at 54.5 points. This matchup is likely to reflect both teams' struggles to find their rhythm, leading to a low-scoring affair. The San Diego State Aztecs are coming off a tough loss, having their 2-game winning streak snapped by the Washington State Cougars in a nail-biting 29-26 finish. The Aztecs held a 26-14 lead heading into the fourth quarter, but couldn't fend off a late surge from the Cougars, who scored the final 15 points of the game. Marquez Cooper was the standout performer for San Diego State, rushing for 78 yards on 18 carries. Freshman quarterback Danny O'Neal had a mixed performance, completing 22 of 34 passes for 195 yards, 80 of those to wideout Joshawn Polk, but also threw a crucial interception and was sacked 3 times. Defensively, San Diego State has struggled, allowing 24 or more points in 3 consecutive games. Offensively, the Aztecs are averaging a lackluster 340 yards per game, ranking 114th nationally, with a modest 5.2 yards per play. They've also struggled to establish the run game, ranking 103rd with 126.4 rushing yards per game. O'Neal has thrown for 1,240 yards this season, with 6 touchdowns, and Cooper leading the ground game with 748 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. On the flip side, the Boise State Broncos are riding high, having secured their 6th consecutive victory by defeating the UNLV Rebels 29-24 last Friday. The win kept their college football playoff hopes alive, with junior Ashton Jeanty continuing to impress, rushing for 128 yards and scoring the game-winning touchdown. Quarterback Maddox Madsen contributed just over 200 passing yards and a touchdown in the win. Boise State's defense was a force, racking up 6 sacks and an interception against UNLV. Boise State's offense has been firing on all cylinders this season, averaging over 28 points per game, and they rank 2nd nationally in rushing yards per game, 274.9, and 4th in total yards per game, 504.6. Jeanty leads the charge with 1,376 rushing yards and 18 touchdowns, while Madsen has completed 62.2% of his passes for 1,482 yards, with 13 touchdowns against just 2 interceptions. Despite some struggles in pass defense, allowing 262.4 yards per game, their rush defense has been solid, allowing only 117.4 yards per contest. Historically, Boise State has excelled at home, winning 5 of their last 6 games against the spread dating back to last season. In their last home game against Utah State, they scored a staggering 62 points, with Madsen throwing for 3 touchdowns and the rushing attack amassing nearly 300 yards. With the significant offensive advantage Boise State holds, especially in key statistics like yards and points per game, they're poised for a strong performance against a San Diego State team that has stumbled on the road, scoring 21 points or fewer in 2 of their 3 away games this season. Their previous visit to Albertson Stadium ended in a lopsided 35-13 defeat. Prediction: take Boise State to cover the spread at minus 24.5 points. In terms of scoring, the last 2 matchups between these teams exceeded the point total, with a total of 65 points on the board when they last met in 2023. Boise State has consistently scored over 45 points at home this season, and they've gone over the point total in their first 3 home games of 2024. Both teams rank in the bottom half defensively, which should lead to plenty of opportunities for scoring. Given these trends and the offensive firepower at Boise State's disposal, expect a high-scoring affair in Idaho on Friday night. Take the over at 57.5 points.